There is not such a thing as a perfect conflict handling mode. Previously, we introduced 5 different conflict handling modes based on the degree of assertiveness and cooperativeness, namely competing, accommodating, avoiding, collaborating, and compromising. None of them is perfect and always applicable. Each of them can be the perfect one according to the situation, though. Said in another way, different situations might require different conflict handling modes, but we are not always able to switch from a mode to another reading the situation. Many of us have a sort of default mode that we adopt more often, and in some cases also when another mode would be better. To know which is your default conflict handling mode, you can analyze the results of a test you took some units before. The results should now be clearer, and the different acronyms stay for competing, collaborating, compromising, avoiding, accommodating. The test is designed to prompt a balanced behavior. Hypothetically, we should score 20% over each style. This means that if you have one or more styles over 20%, you will most likely apply them when other styles would be preferable. But how do we define which style is the best to apply? What should we look at to decide how to behave? Competing makes sense when quick, decisive action is vital. For example, in an emergency, when there is no time for discussion, or on important issues, where we need to implement unpopular actions, for example, cost-cutting, enforcing unpopular rules or discipline. This solution doesn't leave any space for discussion or compromise, and is suitable for issues vital to the company welfare, when you know you are right and have facts and data proving it. It's also the right approach to protect yourself against people who take advantage of non-competitive behaviors. Accommodating, instead, is the right choice when you realize that you are wrong, which might happen, but also when you accept to allow a better solution to be considered, to learn from others, and to show that you are reasonable. In other cases, we can decide to accommodate when the issue is much more important to the other person than to ourselves, as a goodwill gesture to help maintain a cooperative relationship. Accommodating can also be a long-term decision to build up social credits for later issues that are important to us. There are also team-based reasons to go for an accommodating style. For example, to preserve harmony and avoiding disruption, or to aid the development of your employees by allowing them to experiment and learn from their own mistakes. Avoiding is a completely different style, which is almost not a conflict handling mode. The conflict is just not happening, and we often apply this when an issue is trivial or when other, more important issues are pressing. In some cases, we actually care about the topic, but decide to avoid the conflict because we perceive no chance of satisfying our concerns. For example, when we have low power or are frustrated by something that would be very difficult to change, like national policies, someone's personality structure, and so on. Similarly, we might avoid the conflict if we perceive that others with more power and more competencies can resolve the conflict more effectively than us. Another very good situation to avoid the conflict is when the potential cost for confronting outweighs its resolution benefits, or when the situation is already emotionally intense and we want to let people cool down. Competing, accommodating, and avoiding are clear styles with pros and cons that the majority of us easily understand. Compromise, on the other hand, is often more challenging to frame for many of us. Since we were kids and had arguments with our brothers, sisters, or friends, we have been told, find a compromise. In this way, compromising started to have a prominent role in our conflict mode decision. When we ask people what's the best way to manage a conflict, the most likely response is to compromise. I want to make a strong point against this attitude. To be very clear, compromising is a lose-lose attitude. When you compromise, you accept losing something only because the other person is losing something too. We perceive it as a lot fairer than accommodating. And, even more important, it is fast and easy. People are normally scared by conflicts because they don't want to harm the relationship. Conflicts might lead to tense or uncomfortable situations that we feel we are not able or willing to manage. In such situations, compromising appears to be a sort of holy grail. It is fast, it is fair, and it allows both of us to get out with an honorable and acceptable solution. Nobody will blame us for splitting the difference. We lost something, but the other person did the same. Consider, for example, the transaction to sell a house. If the seller asks for 500k euros and the buyer offers 450k euros, it seems reasonable for everyone to split the difference and close at 475k euros. The reality is, though, that parties arranged a lose-lose agreement, losing 25k euros each. Even if compromising should not be considered the optimal or preferable conflict handling mode, it might be suitable in some cases, especially when time is critical and the issue is too important to both parties to go for a competing or accommodating mode. Similarly, it can be the right choice if two opponents with equal power are strongly committed to mutually exclusive targets, like in labor management bargaining, for example. Finally, compromising can be seen as a backup mode when collaboration fails. These considerations lead us to the analysis of the last conflict handling mode, collaboration. Theoretically and conceptually, this is often considered to be the ideal conflict handling mode. We both shall win. It has a significant drawback though, which makes us not choose it very often. It is hard to implement. Collaboration is also called win-win. Both parties win as much as they can. They are not happy because it is fair to lose as much as their opponent. They are happy because both parties are fully satisfied with the solution. In many cases, though, this means investing time and effort to co-design a new solution that is not on the table at the beginning of a conflict. Collaborating is difficult because parties must change their mindset. Normally, we get into a conflict with the best solution for our party in mind and measure the results in terms of the distance between this ideal solution and the actual result. Unfortunately, though, our solution do not represent a win situation for the counterpart, and it is virtually impossible to have a win-win. Either we get it and the counterpart doesn't win, or the opposite. This is the reason why compromising is so appealing. It guarantees not to lose fully. This fear of losing is based on the mentality of scarcity. There is only one pie, and the more you eat of it, the less there will be for me. A collaboration conflict handling mode implies, first of all, to revert this attitude and switch to a mentality of abundance. Instead of competing for a bigger slice of pie, let's bake a new pie. The change in mentality also drives a change in the process that starts with exploring instead of claiming. The first step of a collaborating approach is to get rid of the existing proposals, which means losing for the counterpart, and start investigating the counterpart's need to craft a brand new solution that is now not visible. In the previous example of property sale, the seller might understand that the buyer's need is to buy the house and also the furniture, and spend no more than 520k euros in total. On the other side, the seller might need at least 500k euros cash for investment, and knows that the existing furniture could be monetized, but with a more challenging process as the furniture is used. Selling the full package, house plus furniture, for 515k euros might be a solution satisfying both parties fully. Collaborating is hard work. It requires time, effort, and a lot of creativity. But first of all, it requires both parties to change their mentality and embrace an abundance mentality. This conflict handling mode is suitable when both parties' needs are too important to be compromised, or when our objective is to learn, for example, testing our own assumptions, understanding other visions, or to merge insights from people with different perspectives on a problem. We should never underestimate the effort and time when opting for the collaborative mode. Still, both parties will be highly satisfied, motivated, and committed to stick to the decision if we succeed.